So we got my work car, 2015 Golf Sport Wagon TDI that I'm gonna be washing. It's been coated with Adams graphene ceramic coating. As you can see, it's pretty nasty with salt. But what I'm gonna show you is my way of properly washing a car that is safe on the clear coat and coating, so you know, to minimize your risk of getting scratches and swirls back in it. But here she is. All right, so here's what I got as far as washing supply bucket setups. So I got just a wash mitt from Adams. I'll have this bucket will be my rinse bucket with the grit guard, and then this will be my soap bucket with the grit guard. And then I also have a wheel bucket. It's also got a grit guard. I got a small lug and trim brush, hard bristle brush for tires, soft bristle for wheel faces, and then a barrel brush for getting in between the spokes. That's pretty much everything you need. All right guys, so first step in washing the car is I'm going to rinse the whole car, wheels and all. The safest way to get big pieces of dirt off is just by a pressure washer. So that way you're not swiping anything like with a cloth or dragging it, really just blasting it off the car. Especially with a car with a good coating, it should come off fairly easy. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start right now and I'm gonna rinse everything off the car from top to bottom. So now that I got the whole car rinsed off, I'm gonna go to the wheels and tires. Right here I'm using Adams wheel and tire cleaner. This is a good dual purpose. They don't recommend you use it on raw aluminum like an American Force or specialty forged wheel. But on something like this, powder coated, it's perfect, just one product. So I'm gonna spray the whole area down the wheel well. And the wheel face. And I'll let it sit for about a minute. All right, so it's the chemical set a little bit, and now I'll start to agitate it. So first I'm gonna start with the hard bristle brush for the tire. All right, throw that in there. I'm gonna go to the soft bristle for the wheel face. And then my lug brush. These wheels are kind of tight, so you can hit a bunch of different spots with this little brush. You don't need to do this every time you wash the car, but for video's sake, I'm going pretty in depth. Get off the spokes. lastly, I use my barrel brush. Get in the barrel and boat. These wheels have been ceramic coated, so they come off clean pretty easily. Like I said, you don't have to do this every wash, but for video's sake, that's what I'm doing. I pretty much do it every wash just because I have the time and I get really picky and keep my stuff clean. All right, now I'm gonna rinse it all off. So wheels are clean, car's been rinsed off. Now next step is to clean the paint. So I got adding foam can here. I'm gonna douse the whole car down with some good thick foam and then go through and scrub it. Alright, so now I'm going to go through and scrub it. I got my soap bucket and my rinse bucket. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like one panel at a time on one side of the mitt, flip it over, do another panel, and then rinse it, throw back in the soap bucket and repeat. Rule of thumb on washing, drying, any of that stuff is the weight of the mitt or the towel is all you need. You don't want to scrub too hard, that'll cause you to start scratching stuff. Like I said, rule of thumb, just the weight of the towel or the mitt, and just glide it over the paint. If there's something embedded that you need to physically put pressure on to scrub off, the safest way to get that off is with a clay bar. car's been scrubbed down, now I'm going to thoroughly rinse the whole car from top to bottom. So after it's rinsed off, I'm going to try to blow the majority of the water off the compressor. That's the safest way. Like I said, every time you swipe a cloth or anything over the car, you're essentially wearing the coating or the paint down. So if you can get the majority of the water off with the compressed air, you're going to save the life of the paint or coating. The last step is now dry it off. I have Adam's Plush Jumbo Drying Towel, which are awesome. Probably one of my favorite things Adam sells. And then, being that this car is ceramic coated with graphene ceramic coating, I have a graphene detail spray, and I'm going to go through and just mist the whole car before I dry it off. This will kind of help neutralize any water spot if you have bad water or anything like that. Alright, the whole car is dried off, and last thing I'm going to do is just get the wheels and the door jambs, and that's it. If you guys have anything else that you want tips on, I'm going to try to bring some cool content like this. Like I said, it's very important to wash your car properly to get the life out of your coatings. coatings aren't bulletproof. If you go through and run through brushed auto washes, the stuff's going to wear off, and you're not going to get the money out of your investment like you should. So that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching.